If bringing desire into focus feels good to you, that means you are somewhere in the vibrational range of your desire. If bringing desire into focus feels uncomfortable to you, that means you've identified what you want, but you're nowhere near it in belief. Because when you want something you don't believe, and we say, you like bringing desire into focus, the answer has to be no. I felt better before I knew I wanted that thing I don't believe I can have. But when I believe I can have that situation, that experience, that relationship, that life experience, when I believe I can have it, that's why your little ones are happier than you are. They still believe. You haven't convinced them yet that life sucks. You say things to them like, oh, you'll get it in time. Later on, you'll understand. But we want to restore you to your pre-birth and shortly after birth understanding that you can have whatever it is that your life helps you to define that you want. You can have it. You can be it. You can do it. You can experience it. Law of attraction will bring it to you. But you have to be a vibrational match to what you want. You cannot be a vibrational match to its opposite. So if your belief is one of doubt, you are a vibrational match to the opposite of what you want. Don't you find that fascinating? My belief does not match my desire. Now, when you think about it from the standpoint of what you've been hearing from us for a while, my belief simply does not match my desire. Doesn't that sound silly to you? My belief doesn't match my desire. Well, why not? Well, because I'm really smart and I've been observing what is, and I've been observing what I've been living, and what I've been living doesn't match what I want to live, and therefore my belief, which is based upon what I've been living, doesn't match my desire. And we say, well, if that's the case, then it is going to be pretty slow going for you to get from where you are, if it is a place you don't want to be, to where you want to be, if the majority of your attention is being given to what is. Is it? Do you give the majority of your attention to what is? Do you? You do, don't you? You know you do. You know you do, because you are so good at observing. Your observation, your acknowledgement of reality, the reality that exists. And most humans would say anyone who's wise would give their attention to reality. We don't want to be delusional. We don't want to not face reality. So haven't we learned right from those who have taught us? Shouldn't we face reality? And we say, by all means, if you like it, by all means, if the reality is such that you want to perpetuate more of it, if there are things that you are observing that are not matching what you desire, and you continue to observe them, then you're continuing to let your observation of unwanted things train your vibrational frequency, because a belief is only a thought that you keep thinking. A thought is only a point of focus. So if you continue to observe what is and comment on what is, then you're practicing a vibration of what is and establishing a pattern. We call it your grid or your point of attraction. It's that basis of who you are, like the framework of a building that will fill in with the details. So if you're focusing upon what is primarily, and what is pretty good, then your point of attraction is pretty good, and you continue to attract more that is pretty good. But if you're focusing upon something really unwanted, and it's easy to do because you live in a world where there are experts who will scour your planet for unwanted things. Groups of them with cameras. And then they dramatize them with music. And they bring them to you as facts, factual evidence of what is. And you say, I need to be an informed citizen. I need to know what's happening in my world. Therefore, I will study with excruciating discipline the facts of this world. And we say, as you weigh the pros and cons, you practice a vibration of wanted and unwanted. As you examine the pluses and the minuses, you practice a vibration of wanted and unwanted. In your attempt to be fair-minded and objective, you introduce all kinds of clutter to your vibrational frequencies that you don't need to introduce. And in your objectivity, you have a cluttered vibration. Most everybody around you has the same. And so most of you live lives of not much excellence, but rather of mediocrity, because you're practicing your vibration. You say, I want it, but. So your desire is canceled by your doubt about it. And then you measure yourselves against others who are doing the same. So we have to say to you, friends, your standards are low. Your vibrational standards are quite low. We want you to insist on a greater standard of vibrational excellence for yourself, which will not only clarify your vibrational patterns, and it will not only bring to you more wanted in a quicker fashion, but while it's on the way, you'll feel so much better, because how you feel is always simply an indicator of your mixture of pros and cons. That's all it is. Pluses and minuses, wanted and unwanted, beliefs and doubts, desires and don't believes, or desires and beliefs. So we want to convince you little by little. It's a gradual process, and one you will practice following. We want to convince you that you are the creator of your own reality, and that you do it because you give attention to things, and by giving attention to things, you emanate a signal. And the more you give attention to something, and the more you emanate that signal, the easier it is to emanate that signal. Because law of attraction makes whatever you've got going on easy to continue. It's more difficult to change a signal. It's more difficult to stop a belief, or the accurate way to say that is to begin a more productive, more beneficial belief. You live in a world that is based upon attraction. There is no exclusion in this universe in which we are all focused, which means there's no such thing as no. You can't look at unwanted and push it away, because when you look at unwanted, you call it to you. Because when you look at unwanted, you offer a vibration about unwanted. And when you offer a vibration about unwanted, it's introduced into your point of attraction. And anything that's introduced into your point of attraction is a player in what you allow to come to you, or what you disallow to come to you. In other words, it's all about what you've got going on vibrationally. So we are really not advocating that you identify things unwanted and say no to them at all. But we also understand that there are plenty of things that you want to say no to, and it's right that you would. We just want you to briefly say no, and then immediately following the no, say yes to something that you prefer. In other words, when you know what you don't want, you also know what you do want. But as humans, you have become oriented to putting more emphasis upon unwanted, because you believe somehow, and it is really difficult for us to understand how you have come to believe something that is so defiant of universal laws. How do you come to believe that you can say no to things and they will go away? Well, it's because you've been living this life of sort of mediocrity, where you have been dabbling with creation through action rather than through vibration. You can pick stuff up and move it around, and you can say, no, I don't want it over there. I want it over there. And you can move something from place to place. And so you've convinced yourself, since your action is so easy for you to observe around you, you've convinced yourself that the world operates by you just defining what you want and then using your physical willpower or strength to make it so. But we want to connect with you on a deeper level of understanding. We want you to address your true leverage, We want you to address your leverage of attraction. We want you to accept that you are the creator of your own reality because you offer a vibration that law of attraction is responding to. And we do not believe that our message to you will be difficult for you to accept fully because we know that law of attraction will help us because there is no evidence to the contrary anywhere in your universe. When you focus upon what you want and you do it with enough consistency that you begin to feel good, that you begin to feel light and easy about it, that you begin to feel expectant about it, hopeful and then expectant, hopeful and then believing, hopeful and then knowing. We know that when you know when you know something, you are in the vibrational place to allow the reality of it to be evidenced in your experience. We know that when you know something, when you've practiced a belief long enough that you know it, you're going to realize it. And the reason that we are putting the emphasis on realize it is because it's going to be your interpretation. Have you had experiences where you just know something and almost as soon as you know it, it happens? Esther was watching a little piece of television this morning. She turned it on because she always likes to gloat about the weather where she is. So she likes to see the weather patterns, and then she likes to look at the weather where she is. And then she likes to acknowledge one more time, I'm in the very best possible weather place. So she was watching a little piece of something that was showing the weather. And then a piece came on of a man who is throwing a basketball at a Lakers game from center court. And he threw it right in and won his big prize of several $1,000s. And he said, I told the mascot right before I shot, I know this is going in. Now, he's a basketball coach, so he knows they don't always go in. But he knew that one was going to. You have knowing about things, but you have to practice yourself into the vicinity of knowing. So we want to convince you that what comes to you isn't the basis that you then sift and sort and evaluate in order to gain your knowledge. In other words, we want to show you how you don't search the world or even your life experience for the facts that surround you, and then, based upon those facts, achieve your knowing. Instead, we want you to understand that you achieve your knowing by finding a vibration of something that you desire and practicing it until it's easier and easier and easier to believe it. And once you practice something long enough that it's easy to believe, you will know it. And then the facts will back up your knowing. So we'll just leave it there for now. The facts always do back up your knowing. It's just that sometimes you know stuff you don't want to know. You know stuff you don't want to know. And you know why you know stuff you don't want to know? You've practiced thinking those thoughts of those things you don't want to know. Now, we know that you want to say to us, but it's all around. Esther has said that to us on many occasions through the years. But Abraham, it's true. It's true, and therefore, I believe it deserves my attention. And we say, we would add something to that if we were standing in your physical shoes. If it's true and you like it, give it your undivided attention. But if it's true and you don't want it, then why practice the vibration of something that someone else has made true by their attention to it? Why practice that reality into your realization? You're sort of kind of getting this, aren't you? You create your own reality, and you do it because you think. But you have control of what you think. But most of you don't really exercise control of what you think because you believe that you owe your attention to it if it's in front of you. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely.